Hello children, good morning. How are you all? Hope you are safe. So today I am going to continue with the same lesson, political science, our constitution. So today I am going to explain you all about the fundamental rights. So there are totally 6 fundamental rights are there, but today I am going to explain you all only the 5 fundamental rights. So the fundamental rights provide social and economic atmosphere necessary for the development of personality of citizen. So there were 7 fundamental rights mentioned in third part of our constitution, but the 44th amendment, in the 44th amendment, the right to property have been abolished. So there are 6 fundamental rights at present. So how many fundamental rights there were? There were 7 fundamental rights were there itself. But according to 44th amendment of our constitution, the right to property has been removed, has been abolished. So at present there are 6 fundamental rights. But today I am going to explain you only the 5 fundamental rights. So the first point is right to equality. It is very important. It is very essential for the success of democracy. Under this act, under this right, all citizens are equal, socially, economically, before the law. None should be discriminated against on the basis of like caste, religion, gender, place of birth, and should be discriminated on the place. And under this act, under this right, untouchability is offence. Offence means what? It is a crime. We shouldn't follow any kind of untouchability in our country. And this right has enabled every citizen to get an opportunity to the government service. That is the right to equality and right to freedom. It is one of the important fundamental right. Under this, one who can express his opinion, conduct meeting without any kinds of arms. Arms means what? Weapons and all. Establish organization, live anywhere in India, follow any profession, move around the country. It is a freedom, right to freedom, and no one can be arrested without any proper reason, and no state of law can snatch the life and freedom of a citizen. That is a second point. Now what is that? Right to freedom. Next, right against the exploitation. The aim of this right to prevent exploitation of women, children, poor and the weak, beggars, the Devadasi system, the practice of sati, immoral activities and forced labor has been abolished. And employment, employment of children under the 14 years of age in mines, industries and dangerous occupation is prohibited in our country. And that is the right against the exploitation. Now, right to freedom of religion. You all know that since our country is, India is a secular country, and you can see secular country, and no religion has given the status of national religion. All citizens can accept any religion, practice it and propagate it, and no one should force to pay taxes for management of religious institutions. So this is the thing, and no use of religious places for the politics and other activities. It is prohibited in our country. So that is the right to freedom of religion. Next, culture and educational right. So in this, the citizens have their own. All citizens have their own language, their script and culture. It is a duty of a state to protect their rights, and the rights this right has interest. So whichever they have the interest of the linguistic minorities. Do you know what you mean by minorities? The Muslims will come under the minorities. Jains, Christian, Buddhist, Parsi, and the Jain people. These all will come under the minorities. To protect, it is a right to protect the interest and the linguistic minorities. And no one can deny the admission in a government institutions nor institutions run by the minorities. Now, who are the minorities? Now we can see the Muslim schools and colleges are there, Sikh schools and colleges are there, Christian schools and colleges are there, and Parsis, Jains, Buddhist. So no one, even the government cannot deny the admission or to run the institutions of the minorities. That is the culture and the education rights. So once again I am going to explain to you that right to equality. It is very essential for the success of the democracy. Under this, all citizens have equal social. All citizens are equally socially before the law. Here, none should be discriminated against on the basis of place, religion, caste, religion, gender, place of birth. So these all will come under this. And no citizen, and under this act, untouchability is a big offence. Offence means what? It is a crime. And here the citizens has to be subjected to any restriction with regard. There should be no restrictions to access the shop. To access is nothing but to buy or to set up our shops, public restaurants, places of public entertainment, public places of worships. So there shouldn't be any kind of restrictions and all. And untouchability is a great offence, and this right has been has enabled every citizen to get an opportunity in a government service also. And right to freedom, here what we are seeing, everyone has they can express their opinion, conduct meetings, but without any kinds of arms and weapons and all. And they can establish organization, they can live anywhere in India, follow any profession, and move around the country. And that is the thing. And no one can be arrested without proper reason and all. And no state of law can snatch the life and the freedom of a citizen. And right against exploitation is nothing but preventing their exploitation against the women and children, poor, the weaker section, beggars, the Devadasi system, practice of sati and immoral activities, forced labors, and forced labors have been abolished. And employment of children under 14 years of age in mines, industries, and dangerous occupations, these all have been prohibited. It is also not only prohibited, it is punishable in our country. And the next one is right to freedom of religion. So here in this what we are seeing, since India is a secular country, no religion has given the status of national religion. So all the citizens can accept any religion, practice any religion, propagate any religion. And they are not forced to pay the taxes to the management of religious institutions and all. This is the thing. And that is about the right to freedom. And next one is culture and educational rights. Here all the citizens have their own language, script and culture. So it is a duty of the government to protect this. And the rights of the institutions and protect the institutions and the interest of the linguistic minorities. And no one can deny the admissions in a government to a government institutions or institutions run by the minorities. So for example, now in the minorities, it may be Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and Jain, Parsi, Buddhist, whoever will go to the institution, no one should deny, and even the minorities are running the institution, the government also shouldn't deny. So tomorrow again I am going to continue with the fundamental rights, children. I hope you all understanding whatever I am explaining. If you have any doubt, whenever you all come for a notes correction, please